everyone! So, last time I was lost somewhere in the mountains, the last mountain there, Tibet's top or something. And, okay, so it was the last place that officially has wolves in Sweden. The last place, I crossed with wolves. So now officially out of the wolf zone, and there's less and less forest. So this is still like the thieves' forest or something, where thieves used to hide to rob rich people crossing the forest or something. And there's this old village that's been transformed into a hostel or a holiday village kind of thing in the middle of the forest. That's where I stayed last week. So that was still being on the road. It's a dirt road. That was okay. Afterward it became a bit more difficult to ride, especially with slopes and quite steep ones, so I had to push my bike quite a lot. Anyway, finishing crossing that, I went the wrong way. No, I changed my way. I changed the road. So I went to this lake. So that was down in the valley compared to the forest. So everything was beautiful. Luxuriously green. The weather is getting better. So that was the last night that it was cold. I think we went down to -2 that night, and that's gonna be the last night with such temperature. So that's me showing you guys how I put my hammock where I sleep. So I've got it all wrapped together with a bug net and an under sleeping cover that keeps your back warm from underneath the hammock. So you just bug net, because already quite a lot of mosquitoes. Sweden has a huge problem with mosquitoes. I mean, there's too many of them. So yeah, you've got to have 2 good trees, and then pick up straps from your bag, attach the straps to the trees, and just attach the hammock high enough. So if the angle, here you can see the angle of the hammock is pretty high, and that's great, because if you sleep diagonally in the hammock, then you're almost straight in it, weirdly enough, because it's large enough. It's maybe the width, I don't know, I think 1.5 meters or something. So it's very, very comfortable, except when it's cold. That was quite a cold night. After having installed that, I make sure the undercover is well aligned with the hammock, and then I straighten the bug net so I don't have it on my face if I want to sit. And I put my sleeping bag in the sleeping bag. I used to, now I don't need it anymore. I put a polar jacket to keep my feet warm. So I cleaned that, and I'm wearing the jacket now in the evening. So I decide which side I put my head, the head of my sleeping bag, and I try to straighten it in the hammock. So if you don't do that, and you just enter and lay down in the hammock without the sleeping bag arranged. It's a lot of sports. It's very hard to actually get yourself in the sleeping bag. So it's much easier to prepare everything to lay in before you actually enter in the hammock. So that's reindeer pelt. That saved my life, seriously. Because of the cold nights, I put the pelt in my sleeping bag and I lay on it, and it keeps my, even with the undercover, the hammock undercover, it's not enough. So the pelt is keeping my back warm, because that's the problem with hammocks. It's usually because of the air. You don't have any insulation layer, so you really need something to keep your back warm. So reindeer pelt helps. And reindeer pelt is good in a way because it's sustainable. The Sami people, or you might know them as Lap, they used to, like, they are not like Native American, but in Europe, in Northern Europe, you find them, and in Northern Russia, and they used to hunt reindeers until I think the 17th or 18th century, until in Sweden they were forced by the king of the time to start rounding up all the reindeers and start using them and like cattle instead of just hunting them. So they were forced to keep them all year round and care for them. And now they're not forced anymore, but there is no wild reindeer, so they're actually kind of nomads, because they follow the reindeers and herd them. And every, I think, September they have to kill a lot of them just to continue their way of living. They kill the young males, I think, most of them, and that's where the pelts come from. So it helps the last Native American, like Northern European people, to continue the traditional way of living. If they didn't do that, they will lose their culture and lose and start working in mines or something, in factories, and so the government still help them care for the reindeers. And you can, in northern Sweden, it's very easy to find reindeer meat. It's available everywhere, and pelts and so on. So that's a tarp to protect me from the rain and the wind. I think that night was quite windy. So the tarp is unfortunately a bit too big for the space between these two trees, but that really depends on which tree you attach it to. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, it still protects me from both the wind and the rain. So that's usually how that is done. So you attach it either around the tree, or you can attach it directly to your hammock, but then it's not as still. So yeah, if you travel with a hammock, like where you need a tarp and you need a bug net and an undercover and a pelt, it might be more or heavier than if you were traveling with a tent, but it's much more comfortable, and it's also much more convenient if you're in countries like Sweden, where you have forests literally everywhere, far across most of Sweden, and I've not found a place without forest yet. So like, look at the ground, you can find any place there for tents, and it's not easy to find a place with a flat ground. So yeah, the forest, the hammock it is. You have to attach the tarp quite tightly if you want to avoid the wind. And then under the tarp, you can put all your bags and everything in case of rain, making it, keeping your stuff dry. One advantage of sleeping in a hammock as well is that, unlike a tent, you're not gonna find any moisture in the morning. You're gonna be always dry, whether it rains a lot, rains or not, you'll be dry. So here I went there, and then I decided to go down because I wanted to see the big lake, and the way wasn't much longer, so I went down to Umeå. I stayed somewhere there, not sure according to this map whether it was there or down there, but by the lake, which is bigger than Lake Geneva. In Sweden you've got a lot of sand, so it's pretty easy to find sand beaches next to lakes. So here, that's where I put my hammock, next to the beach. It was beautiful. The water was extremely transparent. Apparently it's used, the water is one of the cleanest in Sweden or in Europe or something. They advertise that you can drink it directly, and I didn't try. But yeah, it was amazingly clean, and also extremely cold, colder than the other lakes, unless the frozen, you count the frozen lakes I've been to, but I didn't really touch the water because I didn't make a hole in the ice. But this lake is called Lake Vättern, I think, and it's very deep. It's 100 or 180 meters deep, so the water stays very cold all year round. So that day I also had some repair on my bike, so I didn't go very far. And then the next day we had rain the whole day, so I stayed again by the lake a whole day in my hammock, basically reading, which was cozy. And then yesterday I arrived to Jönköping, which is quite a beautiful, lovely city. That's me arriving in Jönköping. The weather was gorgeous, so I got that. The water, it's the same lake, so it's too bad you can't see it on the camera, but you could really see like the stones and like the bottom of the lake really clearly, so it's meters deep even there. So now I'm staying here, and then tomorrow morning I'm leaving Jönköping and I'm heading south, so I have got 350 kilometers to Trelleborg, I'm not sure. Okay, have a good day.